So it has been a few months since the mansion of Amber Hall fell. Uh, no one that was inside the mansion has lived to tell the tale. However, there are only three that managed to actually survive. Though they had investigated the mansion itself, they still hardly know anything of what actually happened that night. Eventually, a few weeks ago, reports in the Imperial Chronicles have surfaced mentioning undead have started roaming the countryside, and even some people in the city have started committing suicide for apparently no reasons. Now, the military has tried to keep citizens calm, and as a result, adventurers have started flocking to the city to try to help curb the undead that are roaming. Unfortunately, this has only raised the citizens' concerns more. Most adventurers will often find themselves looking at the job board in the city hall for ways to help combat this problem. Mei, your master has recently tasked you with trying to help find the source of the undead and try to put a stop to it, as your village has also been recently attacked. Damokos, from your original adventure in the mansion, you decide to stick around town having your tales to tell. But eventually, people have already heard your stories one too many times, and you feel it's time to find more.
Damokos knows when Damokos is no longer welcome.
As for you, Shard, I the recent undead activity has just in general piqued your curiosity. Whether you're looking to find the source and join their cause or put a stop to it, that is your choice. The three of you all begin in City Hall, where several jobs have been posted either for helping investigate the undead problem or try to help figure out why the suicides are happening. What do you guys do?
What are we familiar with each other?
No, you are not at all. The only thing is, you guys have seen each other recently, as you guys have come in, kind of day in day out, to see what different jobs have been posted on the job board.
Shard will drag a chair over and stand on it and start, like, put his finger on the paper of the one with this undead plague and kind of start reading, running his finger left and right across the paper.
All right. Doing so, you get a general idea. Some undead have been entering the city as well as attacking nearby villages. The current listing for that has been to try to help curb the villages and stop the undead. Try to investigate their source.
Is there like a pattern or anything that speaks of like which village, or is there a list of villages, and Shard will try to like put two and two together?
Yes. The current villages that have gone under the threat have been three villages about 100 miles to the north. Uh, they all the attacks seem to happen at night, though they're how often they happen seems to differ drastically. There was actually one night, a few nights ago, that had all three of them actually attacked at the same time.
Shard will take out a quill and ink and start writing some notes down on that specific listing.
All right, Damokos.
Um, yeah, Damokos is gonna peruse it. As he does, he's just kind of lightly playing on his, or absentmindedly playing on his pipes or his pan flute. That's what it was.
Looking at any of them in particular, or just looking in general?
Just in general, he's kind of feeling like, kind of didn't really follow through that last one, even though the stories he tells, it was quite heroic and fended off quite the horde of evil creatures. Um, but yeah, for right now, I think he's just kind of perusing them.
Alright. And how about you, Amazing?
I'll go ahead and make my way over to the board very slowly, just kind of leaning heavily on my staff. So you hear this sort of clunk, shuffle, shuffle, clunk, shuffle, shuffle as I just make my way over to the board.
Shard will continue to read, and then at some point just kind of slowly look over its shoulder at the pan flute playing. Are you tiefling? I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Would you mind kind of holding off for a minute? Trying to think here.
Damocles looks confused for a moment. Then he's like, you're speaking of Damocles' flute.
Yeah. Yes, I am.
Well, Damocles' music is well renowned through the realms. I mean, are you saying that his playing is an irritant?
Kinda at the moment. Just trying to read here, and but it's good. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good, but yeah. Just trying to concentrate.
I eye him as I'm trying to see if he's insulting my playing for a moment. Then I decide he's not. And I go, well, Damocles will wait. What is it that you are looking at?
He kind of turns back to the paper and continues to scribble.
Seems to be a bit of undead trouble, and I'm interested.
Undead, yes. Nothing comes from the undead but grief, death, undeath, despair. None of it is good, except for the stories. The stories, beautiful.
Grim way of looking at things, but you might be onto something there. I take it you're a bard or entertainer of some sort?
You have never heard of Damocles. Say it is not so.
Well, how do you spell that? Perhaps I have. It's maybe some folk pronounce it different. Damocos, maybe?
It is Damocos. D as in Damocos. He has the fingers up like the Greek.
You see Shard just kind of gives him a look and kind of cocks his head to the side.
Oh, Damocos, of course.
Yeah. See, I knew. Damocos knew that you would remember. Just needed a reminder. Admittedly, it has been some time since Damocos has played for a larger audience. He has just been wandering for some time.
You see he's back scribbling on the paper.
What might they call you? What are you? Something small, I'm assuming.
Gnome.
What do they call you, little one?
Shard.
Shard. That is a very straightforward name.
Well, I would tell you my whole name, but it's far too confusing.
Oh,
So-
come now.
Shard.
Damocos is most intelligent, and he has memorized a multitude of stories and songs, and a simple name will not throw him. Go ahead. Tell Damokos your full name.
You see he eyes him, turning around, kind of looks him up and down. Shard will do.
At this moment, Mazing finally makes her way to the board.
Clunk, shuffle, shuffle. I'll look up at the board, very slowly rise up a finger and start looking over the postings. Turn my head to the other two, give a nod, and then slowly turn my head back.
I'm assuming she is a tortle.
Yes.
Indeed.
What do I know of? Have I ever seen one? Do I know they exist?
Both you and Damokos know that they exist, though neither of you have actually seen them. They seem to be mostly secluded in their village most of the time.
He hadn't taken notice, but when she comes to the board, Shard will just blatantly stare.
No, slowly turn my head back over. Hello?
He gives kind of an awkward smile.
Hey,
How are you?
I am well. And how are you?
I am well, thank you. She gives a slow nod of the head.
He's just like still staring.
Greetings. This is Shad, and you may refer to myself as Damokos. I'm sure that name. Well, Damokos is not sure because he has not seen one of your type before, so you have not heard of him. But I am Damokos the Entertainer.
It is a pleasure to meet you. And she'll go ahead and very slowly take one hand, ball it into the fist, put it in the palm of the other, and bow and then come back up. My name is May.
May. Well, it is a pleasure meeting you. What,
You are looking for jobs as well?
I glance at Shard. Yes, I believe that we are. Is that what brings you here?
Of sorts. I am looking for the cause of the undead.
Well, it just so happens our little friend here has taken down some information in regards to a bounty for us.
That is fortunate. You said that your name was Shard?
He's still staring. He just kind of holds the paper up with all the notes.
Yes, Shard.
And she bends down, narrows her eyes on the paper, gives a satisfied nod. I see. Well, since it would seem that we are all looking for the same thing, would you all like to take this one together?
What do you know of this? You say you were seeking information. Did you have previous knowledge, or?
Not much. I was sent by the master of our tribe to investigate.
I'm sure there's a story to that, but perhaps there could be something shared upon the road, around a campfire, perhaps.
Well, that does sound agreeable. where does this ask us to inquire?
Uh, it actually says to talk to basically the attendant nearby at the city hall to basically sign up for the mission. The three villages that are listed are Untar, Baga, and Rif.
Did any of those ring a bell?
Uh, Rif is actually the place that May is from. And Bargar, Damikos would know that that is actually one of his former companions' home villages.
I'll just say, places I'm not really familiar with, but Untar, uh, Bargar, and a Riff.
Riff is home. I do not know of the other two, though.
I have heard of this Barga. Yeah, I knew someone who was from this location.
Is there like a contact person that we need to speak with regards to the investigation?
Yes, as I stated, it was basically the attendant near the job board at City Hall, so not too far from where you guys currently are.
Well, if you're interested, we could speak to whoever's in charge and perhaps find out if there's any type of reward for this or something.
That sounds like a good plan.
We'll look about for the person.
Yep. The three of you easily take notice. About a little ways down, maybe 15, 20 feet to your left, there's the person that you need to talk to. You three start making your way there, and you take notice that it is a human female that is currently writing in a book, marking down names for other adventurers that are by her.
Walk up to her, wait for her to be not busy.
Yep, it doesn't take long, 1-2 minutes at most, and eventually the group of adventurers before you shuffles off, and you make your way up fully towards her, and she says, "What can I help you with?"
We, us, all three of us, we are interested in. There's some undead things going on up north.
Yes, I'm fully aware. Do you have which village you have a mind to travel to?
Do we?
I'll just turn around.
Well, since nobody has been to Untar, that might be a good decision. It would be a new adventure.
I'll just turn back to the girl.
Antar.
All right. You see, she starts filling out a little bit of paperwork. You take notice that she writes down Untar in basically location. And then she turns the paper to you three and says, "If I could just have you to sign here at the bottom."
Yeah, just grab the quill and write shard.
Damokos signs in a flourish and then hands it to May.
Take the quill and very painstakingly, slowly write out May.
You can tell that the female hasn't seen or really knows what you are, but you can tell she's slightly pained by how long it takes you to write compared to the rest.
Oh no, I forgot the dots on the I. Hold on. I lean back over again, very slowly, dot the I, and hand it back to her.
Thank you. Um, so the current information is this. Since you're heading to Antar, if you can, stop any invasion of the undead that are happening there. And if you can, try to find where they're coming from. Any information, we will gladly pay you for what you know. If you can manage to stop them, hopefully, if you can bring back the culprit alive, it'll be 600 gold in total, so 200 for each of you.
That is fine.
What if something unfortunate happens to them? Unforeseeable that, well, and they don't come back alive.
Um, who is them? Are you referring to us?
Well, no. No, she said to bring back whomever is causing this unrest. I'm assuming that's who you wish us to bring back alive?
Oh, very good. That's very much better.
Yes, if you can't, however, at least bring back their deceased, and we will pay you half.
So, what if the most unfortunate accident happens and, say, my companion here doesn't make it back? We still get 600 gold, yes?
Yes. It's just I was divvying it up evenly for you.
You see, Shard just gives Damokos kind of an up and down look as he says that.
Domicos just kind of eyes him. Takes like one step away.
Shard just put a hand up.
You'll be fine.
This is good. Domicos does not like to, well, lose limbs, die.
You see the female starts pulling out a map, and she points to the northwest. By the rough estimation, without like a ruler to be precise, figure it's roughly 150 miles to the northwest of Imperia. This is where you need to go. If you want, I can help with getting horses for you all. Or a carriage in your case. She points towards May.
A carriage would probably be best.
Do any of you know how to drive?
Oh, that's no, I don't. Damocos does not usually drive himself.
What's that like? Is that like animal handling, or is that like a specific skill?
Well, animal handling. If you don't, otherwise it would be the overland vehicles, which like the soldier would get in the background.
Oh, right.
No, I'm, well, I mean, with my stature and everything, I'm a bit of at a disadvantage with beasts of burden and riding horses and the like. So I would not know.
I am not good with carriages, but I have a way with animals.
Well, If you'd be willing to pay 5 gold up front, I can make sure to have a driver hired for you to take you to Untar and back.
That would be agreeable.
Shard just kind of looks at Damikos. Okay, nods his head towards her.
It is very kind of you, Domikos, to offer to pay.
Shard just nods with a big smile on his face.
Very well. How much will this driver cost me?
As I said, 5 gold.
5 gold. Very well. Let it not be said that Damokos is not a generous, kind, thoughtful, giving soul. Yes.
You see she nods to that.
What time of day is it?
It's about 8, 9 in the morning, roughly. Very early day.
So, do we go now, or I'm ready to go.
I am fine with that.
It'll just
It's a
take
good
me
time.
about 15 minutes to get the driver and carriage for you.
That will be fine. We can gather our gear and meet out front, yes?
Yes, I'll make sure the driver is pulled around there. With that, you actually see she kind of gets up and starts heading to the back, ushering what appears to be a male attendant to take her place so she can go get the driver for you.
Shard will just kind of look to the others.
That's a lot of gold.
It is. It must be very important.
Well, nobody does like undead wandering around the village, so
With that, you guys eventually go to the front and wait, and eventually the driver does pull around with carriage. He immediately takes note of all three of you and says, "Hop aboard."
Is this like a carriage, like a covered, open the doors, climb inside type, or is it like a wagon?
It's a wagon with the cover over it, so like Oregon Trail style.
Okay, I'll. Is there like a little ladder or something?
Yeah, there's basically a 2-step ladder to get into the back end.
I will motion to Mazing and
After you.
And I'll slowly make my way over and put one foot on the first rung, another foot on the second rung, and climb up in.
As May starts making her way up, you definitely see for a moment the carriage itself starts to kind of like lean back from her weight, and the horses have to kind of move forward to try to balance on the other end.
Shard will scramble up after once he sees that she's secure inside.
Damokos will bring up the rear.
Alright, you all in? Good. Alright, on to Untar. Hurrah! And You see, at first, it seems like he is going back a little bit south, but eventually he heads west to go through the west end gate. It takes a couple hours to get there, but eventually you reach Untar. Uh, Definitely not the size of Imperia, as is just a village. You actually take note that it is on a lakefront, so it seems like they're definitely a form of fishing village. He heads towards the middle of the town and stops near an inn called the Skull and Bones. And he says, I'll wait here for 3 days. If you're not back by then I'm heading back.
Very good. Thank you for the assist, my good man.
No, thank the business.
Well then, my companions, shall we get started?
Yes, let's go. I'll go and slowly make my way off the carriage.
Yep, the three of you eventually make your way off the carriage, and you see he drives off a little bit, at the very least, to go park the carriage, so that way he can wait for you guys. Where do you guys go from here?
About what time is it?
It looks to be about 11 or noon, somewhere in there.
Who was the contact that we were supposed to meet? There was a contact, wasn't there?
Shard just pulls out the sheet of paper and looks at his notes.
Looking over the sheet and notes, it says nothing about a contact. Just that you're supposed to try to find the source if possible and stop any invasions of the undead in this town or village.
He just kind of reads through it and then just looks up at the tortle.
I don't see anything here. It's more of an investigation, but I think we're on our own.
Well, where is the best place to start investigating?
Well, according to the stories, the undead tend to come out at night. Perhaps we should find a room and rest up until nighttime, and then we can see if the undead walk.
Shard just nods.
I like that. I like that a lot. That's good thinking.
Mm-hmm.
He'll look to he'll look at Damokos.
Perhaps in our travels, I think perhaps you would be the best suited to be the perhaps the communicator of the group. Being a bard or an entertainer, I'm sure you have your way with people with words, and I tend to offend.
I do not know what you're talking about. I also have a wonderful way with words.
Oh, I'm sure you do, and it is evident. But only one person can speak at a time. But I didn't mean to offend. See, I offended. Yeah, that's what I do.
You
that
know
doesn't-
what? You are right. Damokos, you should speak.
It is quite a skill you have there, little one.
Not one I'm really proud of, but it just sort of happens. See, he kind of like casts his eyes downward.
There. I was not offended.
Then you see his mood changes a bit. His eyes kind of light up, and then you see he whistles loudly and puts his hand skyward. And you see after a moment, you see a small shape fly in and a light on his shoulder. You see a small owl.
Oh, now that is very interesting. Does it have a name?
Of course, this is King Draco.
King Draco. It is a pleasure to meet you. And she'll give the monk a bow.
I'm sorry, what did you say the name was?
King Draco.
King Draco. I am Damokos. It is my pleasure to make your acquaintance.
Is he really a king?
Well, not really. He's more, well, he's just an owl.
Mm. Well, he seems very nice so far.
Oh, he's quite handy. You'll see. Fierce in battle.
Is he? Impressive. Would he also like to go get some rest?
Well, I'll probably just let him flit about, and when we're ready to leave, he'll be waiting for us.
All right.
With that, the three of you head into Skull and Bones.
Indeed.
Alright. The three of you make your way in, and immediately it definitely suits the sign in a way, as you see what looks like miniaturized ships hung about the wall, and even shark heads that are mounted. The place overall definitely feels like it was the home of a pirate, or still is. But surprisingly, there's not that many people inside. Just the bartenders and a couple of patrons.
How long did it take us to get here?
Roughly 4 hours.
All right, so it's kind of getting around noon or so.
Yes.
Well, if you two would like to find us a table, I will speak with the innkeeper about some rooms and perhaps getting us some fare.
Okay.
Let us go short. Do you see one that would work well? And she'll motion out with an arm.
Shard will look for one that was either in a corner or abutted against the wall, where he can sit with his back to the wall.
Yes, you easily spot, there's actually, since there's not many patrons, you see there's definitely plenty of, corner booths to choose from.
That one looks good.
You see, just points to one of the corners.
We will be over there, Damokos.
Very good. He looks to see if there's like an innkeep around. Before he does, though, he uses prestidigitation to kind of clean himself up and get the road dust and grime off of him. And then if he finds someone who looks like it, he will approach them.
Yeah, you easily find one.
Greetings. I am Damakos. My companions and I have arrived at your quaint little hamlet just recently, and we seek two things. We seek rooms for three, and as well as some delicious fare that I'm sure your establishment can serve.
Well, with all that, that will be gold apiece.
A gold apiece, that includes the rooms, does it not?
Yes, it does. Our finest.
Very well. Does that seem like it's average, cheap, expensive?
It definitely feels a little bit on the high end for a village such as this. Since you know, at the very least, the lowest end in Imperia is a gold piece a night, and that's for almost sleeping on a hay bale.
I'm digging into my pouch for gold. I said, well, while Damakos is plenty willing to pay, that price does surprise me. And I glance around, considering doesn't seem like business is, well, booming.
Well, I'd be inclined to agree with you, but if you've heard of things that have been happening around here, you'll know why.
Can we hear this?
Yeah, your booth isn't too far away.
Well, that is actually a story that my companions and I would be interested in hearing more of, as that is potentially the reason that we have come here. Mayhap you have a few moments to join us at our table to share with us, and perhaps we can recompense you for your time.
Sure, I've got nothing better to do.
Wonderful then. Well, we will be over at the table, and if you could send over a wench, or do you call them servers here? I don't know, but somebody to take a drink order.
Player's choice.
Wench it is. The word it rolls off the tongue. So that is good. Well, we will be over there. Then he walks to the table.
Yeah, you make your way over Damokos, and not too long after, a wench actually does arrive.
Beautiful wench. Are you here for our drinks?
I most certainly am.
Well, Miss May, perhaps you should give your orders first.
Mm-hmm. Latte.
Alright, and for you, young one?
Whiskey, none of that watered down stuff.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
We only have watered down stuff.
Yeah, you get the inclination she was actually apologizing, realizing immediately from how he spoke. And for you?
Damokos will have your finest red wine.
Alright, coming right up. Do you guys want to order meals right away?
It's about that time. What you got?
Well, we actually serve a very good seafood platter. If you'd be interested in trying that.
Sure. Eh, Ladies first.
He just looks to amazing.
Mm, a salad.
All right. She then moves off and gets you guys your drinks, and eventually brings you your food.
I just got this image of a Galapagos tortoise eating lettuce on the beach.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Do you use utensils?
Nah.
Thank you.
Like a true tortle.
That's classic.
Yep.
Tortle.
So now that you guys have been sitting and you guys have started eating, you're finally getting to go through the thought process of making sure to really look at each other and figure out what makes them tick in a way, and how their fashion sense is in a way. So May, we'll start with you.
All right. May is short for turtle standard. She's about 5 foot, but she is definitely plenty wide. She has this green rough skin, and right by the mouth, her top lip sort of hooks down, almost like a snapping turtle. And you notice that it's more yellow around her mouth than the rest of her body. She has very heavy wrinkles and bags under her eyes and along a very long neck. And you notice that she has very large claws. Claws are almost as large as her head. They're brown, and you see that they have cracks in them as though they're very weathered. You notice that whenever she touches something, she never touches anything with her right hand. She makes sure that it's always with her left hand. She has a giant shell on her back, and the shell is very spiky. Kind of, if you can kind of see the picture, a little bit similar to that, where on each section of the shell, it sort of protrudes, and the tip of each protrusion is sort of rounded off, but it kind of gives the illusion of spikes. And you see that she really doesn't wear anything other than a very large, almost made of a burlap material around her neck that just sort of drapes and hangs off. And along it, you see that she's placed sort of little different colored flowers.
Nice.
And you said something about a staff earlier.
Yeah, she has a large wooden staff, very simple, but just as tall as she is.
All right, Damokos.
Domikos is a tiefling. His skin has a little bit of a reddish tint to it. Dark hair, horns curl back on his head. He's lean, but fit. Wears a vest, open down to, practically to his navel. Sleeveless. Clearly takes, good care of himself. His clothing, everything looks to be in really pristine condition. He's definitely someone who, likes to look good and be seen. He has, as you've seen, he has a pan flute that he plays every now and then. Otherwise, though, no discernible weapons or anything like that.
So no armor, no weapons.
Right.
And you, Shard?
Obviously, a gnome, rock gnome, if you know your gnomes, about 3.5 feet tall, slight of build, but you note when he moved or walked, it was with a slow, calculated step. He appears young, even for a gnome. Ruddy tan skin, Always seems to have a perpetual smile on his face, his green eyes kind of glinting with amusement. He seems very curious. Has light brown hair parted down the middle and combed back, falling past his shoulders. A dark brown thigh-length jacket, the cuffs and collar trimmed in tan. Light brown cloth breeches that tuck into high, soft brown leather boots. You see poking over his shoulder the end of a light crossbow and a small leather backpack as well. As with Meizing, he carries a simple brown, dark brown wooden staff. And you note when he speaks, he kind of uses it, in an animated way, kind of pointing with the staff. Around his waist, a dark brown leather belt with what looks to be some type of pouch or satchel, a coin purse, and a dagger, and strapped to his right thigh, a crossbow quarrel case. Is the barmaid around?
Yeah. She's not too far off.
You see, Shard just kind of gives a whistle and holds up the cup or glass that had the whiskey, and just kind of gives her a nod.
You right there. It doesn't take her too long. You see, she grabs what appears to be a pitcher from behind the bar, and brings it over to refill. Would you like me to leave the container for you?
Oh no, that would be far too much. Thank you. No.
Right. And how about you, sir? Are you enjoying the wine?
Oh yes, it is good. It is something that should be taken at a good pace, though. So I am good for now.
And how about you there?
This is very, very good water.
Would you like a refill at all?
Yes, please.
Alright, I'll be right back.
As she moves off, Shard will just kick his feet up on one of the empty chairs and pull out a pipe and tobacco and light it up.
So, we rest for the day, and then what time go out at midnight? Would midnight be a good time?
Well, perhaps we could see what the tavern keeper will tell us when he comes over.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, that seems reasonable.
You see Shard reaches into his coin purse and takes out 3 gold and tosses them over to Damokos for the rooms.
Oh well, the rooms and the food are actually 3 gold all total, so it would only be 1 gold per. But I slide it back. But I have this covered.
No, you paid for the carriage.
No, I shove it back. Let it never be said that Damokos does not take care of his companion.
You see the perpetual smile widens, and he scoops the 3 gold up.
Well, that's mighty giving of you.
Yes, indeed it is. Damokos has this look on it like he won something.
If that is the case, I would like more lettuce, please.
Well, of course, all that lettuce that you would want within a reason. He waves at the wench.
Well, you wave at the wench, and instead of her actually coming over, You see the barkeep actually makes his way over with the glass of water. So, you wish to talk? He slides over the glass of water to May.
Thank you. Yes, Damocles. We would like to talk.
Well, yes. If you, we've come to uh, inquire into the situation this town has in regards to the undead. He kind of leans over and whispers it. So perhaps you could tell us your story about what's going on here, and maybe we will find similarities.
Yes, what do you know?
So for the past couple nights, uh, every time the undead have attacked us, they seem to be going after our boats, mainly our fishing boats, our skiffs. No one has known why, but as a result, it is starting to make life here a little bit harder. Hence why hardly any patrons are around here today. It would really help if this would stop and we wouldn't have to charge so much for rooms again.
Yes, it is quite pricey. It's well. Anyway, they're sinking the boats. Are they taking the boats? What are they doing to the boats?
They keep trying to sink them. Surprisingly, they've been trying to attack it from the bottom side. I really don't know why. I don't know if it's to try to get people to still use it, and then make them drown, or what. But they don't attack it like normal, like a normal person would.
They are the boats. Are they on land or out in the water? Or do you put them out in deep water, or where are the boats kept?
They're kept over by the docks, but because of the smaller, them being the smaller boats, they're still mostly perched on land. Uh, However, they're on the southern side of the dock, so one would think that they would go after the big boats first if they're just attacking randomly.
With my knowledge of the undead, does that seem unusual? I mean, do I know the undead having the ability to swim or like breathe underwater?
You know that because they're undead, they don't require breathing, so they can easily move about underwater, mostly with ease. You know there are some actually aquatic undead that are even better, but you know it is strange for them to be attacking specifically the smaller boats if they were just going straight through. It seems almost like they're being given commands.
Well, it seems unusual for them to have such a coordinated attack. Um, is there anything special about these boats? What are they used for? Who owns them?
Uh, the village in general owns them. No particular one fisherman owns them. And as I said, they're pretty much our fishing boats. They do the smaller catching. Uh, the big boats are actually used more for the deep lake fishing. Uh, but why they're being attacked, I honestly do not know.
Well, let me ask you this way: when your boats are damaged and unusable, how does that impact the village?
Well, overall, it honestly it hurts the village more than you'd think. uh, as we don't without outsiders, we have more of a barter system, and in all honesty, catching any fish pretty much goes to the whole town in general. So technically, taking even one skiff out of service for even a day, that would probably impact at least 5 to 10 families that are here in the village.
So this, um, my pardon if these questions sound odd, since I'm not quite familiar with your village. So it sounds like what this does is impacts the village's economy. That you use the fish as a barter for other goods and services.
In simple terms, yes.
So if someone were to be coordinating or controlling the undead and focusing the attacks in such a manner, um, their goal could be to disrupt this. Who potentially would benefit from this result? Could there be another village, a competitor, someone that would stand to gain through your village's loss?
I mean, not exactly. The closest, in a sense, I would say that in general anyone would have, in a sense, like higher overall benefit of this would technically be those repairing the boats. But in all honesty, they suffer just as much as them repairing it. So, as for the neighboring village, which is Bargar, uh, they're definitely not a fishing village, so I don't see any reason why they would decide to try to coordinate attack.
Um,
Speaking of Bargar, what is happening there? They are being attacked as well. What commerce, if any, is being attacked? Is it the farms? Is it the mill? What's happening in Bargar? Do you know?
Um, I want to say it's the mill, if I recall. Uh, Either that, it's one of their two mills, because they're they definitely help with the wood, but also uh, they do happen to grow a lot of wheat for flour and such. So it's one of those two mills that get attacked. Maybe they've got both gotten attacked. I really can't place.
I'll look to May.
And Riff, what? You're from Riff, and Riff has been attacked. What are they doing there?
But what are they doing there causing?
Um, Surprisingly, you really don't know. The only thing that you know of is just your people have been getting attacked in general. Uh, you guys, because you guys live in seclusion mostly, uh, overall, unless it were, say, a military campaign, there's no reason for your village to be attacked at all.
Hmm. There is no reason for us to be attacked, but to be honest, I don't know much about it. We are often very secluded from the town itself.
So are these three cities all under the same kingdom or duchy or barony, or are they all related?
Yes, they're all under the same kingdom. Imperia is basically the capital, and these are three of the neighboring villages that basically help to support both Imperia and vice versa.
So what's the nearest kingdom? Is there a competitor? Is there a rival?
The closest kingdom would be actually pretty far off to the east. You all know in general that there's actually a mountain range that basically bridges off the two kingdoms. While there's passes that can go through the mountain ranges, it's definitely ill-advised from both sides for a military campaign of any end to go that way.
Gotcha. So you obviously live here. What have you seen? What have you heard? And what are the rumors? Anything?
From what I've seen, in all honesty, I was seeing firsthand that of some of the undead attacking the boats. By the looks of what I saw, they appeared to be mostly just skeletons, but I want to say about 2 days ago there were some zombies with them. I want to say there was also some form of zombie that was very rotund, but I unfortunately don't have too much knowledge in the undead, so I have no clue what that would be.
Would I?
Go ahead and give me an Arcana roll. Just by the way he is kind of presenting, the way he's kind of moving his hands and such, uh, as far as you can tell, he seems to be basically making note of what you would assume to be an ogre zombie. As far as you know, ogres in general live pretty far to the south of Imperia, and for ogre zombies to actually be up this far north, where it's a little bit colder than their usual territory, it seems very off.
Shard makes note but says nothing.
Have these zombies been observed? Like, where do they come from? Did it come from the water? Did they come from land?
At least those that I've spotted, and as far as I know, others have. Uh, they seem to be coming north from the water, but I don't know if it's true or not. But I remember hearing one of the families before they decide to leave the village say that they end up seeing some zombies actually coming across land from the northeast. But I honestly don't know. I haven't seen any zombies coming from that direction.
Well, anything else that we perhaps would be beneficial to know, or anything you can think of? Is there any strangers in town that recently arrived?
There is one. He's been around every once in a while. I want to say he arrived yesterday or the day before, but I hardly ever see him. He seems to pretty much go off on his own, and I don't know if he's actually working for the zombies or not, or commanding them, but he does. He does wear what appears to be a blackened, not exactly robe, but clothing, and he seems to be efficient at wielding 2 rapiers.
You haven't.
Go ahead.
Do you have a name or where he's staying? Is he staying here? Is he a patron?
He is. I was very reluctant at first, but he's been paying. But honestly, I hardly ever see him here. I honestly don't know if he even sleeps here at all. I just know that uh, he does pay when he does show up.
Is he a human, an elf? What can you tell us of him?
He's human, uh, though he definitely looks like he's been places. Uh, I don't know if he has this sort of mercenary vibe, but at the same time, I don't know if that's actually his background.
Well, that would be good information.
Yes. And as for the undead, if you guys do go after them, I my suggestion at the very least probably be to try to hide near one of the bigger boats. See if maybe you can catch the undead before they fully destroy some of the skiffs.
And what time do they come? Is it just random, or is it like at the stroke of midnight, or?
It's definitely been random. Last night I want to say they came actually roughly around 10, but then the night before they weren't here until like 2.
It's nothing worse than an unreliable undead. Well, we can work around that, I'm sure.
Well, all I can say is I hope you guys succeed.
Well, it looks like we have an interesting evening ahead of us. Without, yes.
This all seems like good information, though. We are better off now than we were before.
What's it, about 1 o'clock?
Yeah, it's about 1 o'clock now. Well, if that's all all the questions you have, unfortunately, I definitely have some more chores to do around, so I'll be getting back to them.
You were most helpful. Thank you.
Indeed, thank you for your time and information, and he gives him a gold coin for your trouble.
I'll hang on to this, but if you solve the problem, I'll give this back to you.
Ah, that's a deal.
And as for you, I'll be back with another salad for you if you want.
Oh, well, if we are going soon, I don't think that will be necessary, but thank you.
Oh, we won't be going for, well, till it's dark, I would say. It's only, well, past noon, right?
Agreed.
Then another would be good, thank you.
Alright.
As he heads off, I'll just look to Mazing.
I admit that I know very little of your people, your race. When it comes to evening time, nighttime, can you see in the dark, or no?
No, not any better than, well, do you see in the dark well?
Oh, I do.
As do I.
Then probably not any better than a human, I suppose.
Well, I'll give you a little secret. I'm a spellcaster, and I can give you the ability to see in the dark if you wish.
Maybe, if we are trying to be secretive when we go. If not, I do have torches.
Oh, torches. Well, that's kind of like banging a drum and clanging pots together, and very, you know, makes you stand out a bit.
Hmm, it does. That is why if we are trying to be secretive, then I will take you up on that.
Will you let me know?
Hmm.
Anything else you guys want to do in the meantime before it gets to night?
Yeah, I'm just gonna switch out some spells.
All right.
Don't think so.
Not me.
So, would we have time for a long rest?
Yes.
All right, we'll just use
'Cause
the long
I'm
rest.
assuming at the very least you guys probably wouldn't want to leave until like at least 10 or around.
Yeah, 9 or 10. Yeah,
Yeah, so you'll easily have enough time for, in a sense, a long rest.
excellent.
With that, you guys decide to take a load off for now until it gets to nighttime.